little bit, Brandon? Can you grab that barricade? Just out through Tompkins, make a swift notification if you would, please avoid the area. Already done. Thank you. Tompkins, 223. He's a little busy right now. What can I get for you? Nothing to lose but our chains! Hey, unit. It's our duty to win!
Who they grab?
Back up.
Let them go!
Back up.
This is police brutality!
Back up.
Let them go!
Back up. Take a step back.
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
Get back.
Hey, fuck you! Let them go! What's your name, bitch? Let them go! What's your name? Let them go! What's your name?
Get back.
No, what's your name? I have a legal right to ask you what your name is. I have a legal right to ask you what your name is. Are you breaking the law right now?
What's your name? What's your badge number?
Are you breaking the law right now?
Let them go! Let them
Are you breaking the fucking law right now?
go!
Are you breaking the law right now?
Do not put your hands on me.
This is my
Do you understand me?
I didn't
Do not put your hands on me.
You piece of shit. What are you gonna do? No reason?
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
Let them go! What's your name? What's your name? What is your name? What is your badge number? Your badge number is 147? Yours 104?
On the sidewalk, so we're
What do you want?
I'm stuck in there. You think this looks good for you? Do you think this looks good for you?
Tomorrow, I don't think it's worth it.
Which one do you want?
They want
Which one do you
Messiah.
want? Get your hands off him. Traffic's coming through. They moved the barricades.
Let him go! doing this? Let him go! Why are you doing
You got traffic.
Why don't we try to pull him through the backside, maybe?
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Leave us alone!
Hey,
Leave us alone!
What's your badge number?
The slim black male, all black shirt,
I'm not
red.
interested in arrest. What are your badge numbers? What is your badge number? What's your badge number? Is your badge number actually 10 or are you just lying? You don't have to tell me.
You should be ashamed of yourself!
What's your badge number?
What were we doing? Oh, is it funny? Is it funny? Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. What am I doing? What am I doing? How?
oh, that's how. Turn your recordings off, please. No physical. Back up.
I don't want my other hand on my back.
Back up.
Please don't put my hand on my back. I'm asking.
You want to be arrested? Back up.
Don't touch me.
You're going to be under arrest. You understand? You touch me again, you'll be under
You
arrest.
touch me.
You stay back.
I'm a 17-year-old girl, and you think I'm
ordering you to back up.
You touch me.
You understand that?
You touch me.
Back up.
I'm standing in one spot.
Go for it.
To what? Go for what? Go for what?
Make your move.
Make what move? You came to me.
No. Stay back.
Let her go.
Wait, hold on. Let go of my leg, bro. I'll walk. I can walk, see?
Stay back.
Don't touch me.
Stay back. Then listen. Just stay back.
I've
Just
been
take
back.
2
You've been
steps
coming
back.
to me.
2 steps back. That's it. Just take 2 steps back. You understand?
This is gonna look really good for you.
Who's next?
Anyone pick up the body camera?
Yes, I got it.
What are your badge numbers? This is illegal.
Is there any more?
Can you get an announcement going on lawful assembly? Please disperse. You need to disperse. Just repeat it.
272, have them come from Aurora Street and Prospect down to the PD. Approach from that direction. Affirmative, they're being advised now.
What's that?
Just a small protest from a very peaceful guy. My house has been broken into, and y'all.
Tompkins 272, one more unit from Cornell and
My
Route.
house has been broken into, and y'all helped out, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Y'all got to change how you do things, because I've had so many encounters with you, that showed that the police here have way too many right-wing weirdos among the police.
MK9s?
And we all know it,
In my pocket.
and it completely robs you of your credibility.
Good with that? Yeah, you tell me where.
Did you get it?
I would say we should hit the ground.
I've had 3 encounters with
Yes, sir.
police.
We
No
can-
reason at all for it to become clear to me, but they made it clear to me. They're right-wing nut jobs.
This is an unlawful assembly. This is an unlawful assembly. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest.
These people are trying to help you
Please
become a
disperse
decent police
or you'll
force.
be subject to arrest.
We're all trying to help the police become a decent police force, and you guys are failing.
Thank
to
you,
do
sir.
it.
This is an unlawful assembly. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest. This is an unlawful assembly. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest. This is an unlawful assembly. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest.
Just log 1 person will see.
This is an unlawful assembly. Please disperse or you'll be subject to arrest.
Blue lights, baby, let's go!
202 Tompkins, 1 burst of pepper spray. They're dispersing westbound on Clifton. Copy.
Whose body camera do I have?
Mine, Deputy Jolly. You're a good man. Thank you.
Let's walk down the line here. There's some pepper spray in the air. Hey, do you want me to move 98, dude? Yeah. I mean, you want to move 98?
Where do you want it?
Cutout? One on the sidewalk maybe or something? I'll move 56 in the cutout. There you go.
What do you want to make it so traffic can flow still?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I mean,
We're gonna try to get out of here. I'm gonna try to take Jamie out of here.
shut it down right up there.
You want
Then we
to?
don't even worry about it.
You want to park these up there then?
Yeah, that or the barricades.
I'm gonna try to get
Problem is,
Sure.
gotta shut that down.
Muriel,
That's our issue.
is she inside? Your car's down in the lower left?
Yeah.
I just want to confirm.
So I'm gonna get for a ride over to the parking garage.
So
223 Tompkins. Anybody else coming can come right to the headquarters. Pursuit.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure they come in from Aurora.
What? Cut out? Okay. We can move yours to the top of the street, and then we got to get Mariel's car moved so we can get Jamie out of here.
What do you need?
We just need to open this a little bit wider.
I left them just enough.
Okay, if you think it's good.
A vehicle can get through that.
Okay.
They scrape it, it's their own fault.
Go ahead. 272 Officer Banfield, or Lieutenant Banfield. Go ahead.
Now, sir, what were you saying? I was trying to make an announcement over the PA.
Oh, thanks for coming over and asking. I just feel that the police have a very serious internal issue to deal with. when there are police personal vehicles on this parking lot here that say extreme right wing on their bumper sticker, that doesn't invoke any confidence.
Whose vehicle?
Right-wing terrorists.
Whose vehicle are you saying has that on it?
It doesn't have it anymore. I complained repeatedly to the mayor and the police chief, and it disappeared from the vehicle.
Okay.
Now the vehicle's not there anymore, so I don't know if the guy traded it or what. I don't even know if it was a guy.
Yeah.
But it was a police officer.
Okay.
And incidents like that, incidents like being on the commons and witnessing a fight and talking to the police about what I saw just as part of an incident report, and the cop saying to me, well, if you don't want to see things like this, don't come to the commons. I mean, what kind of an officer of the city says something like that?
He was alluding to don't come to the commons if you don't want to see a fight.
Yeah.
Is that what you kind of took it as?
Yeah, if you don't want to see this kind of thing, don't come to the commons, because this is what the commons is how I took it.
Okay,
it's not true at all. I go to the commons a lot. I've very seldom seen any kind of disturbance.
Yeah.
Other than a very organized protest.
That kind of comment to me speaks that maybe he was frustrated with what was going on or during the day,
But you know what
right?
it speaks to me? That there's a personality type that's tolerated in the police force. That is a danger to us as the citizens of the city.
You think that comment makes him like a bad person or an aggressor?
It makes me very concerned that a person like that is almost certainly known by his fellow officers to be that kind of person who holds the commons in disdain and is tolerated in the police force. It's bugging me. I can't see you. I'm sorry.
I understand. But if this officer has seen nothing but repeated fights and stuff like that over the course of an extended period of time, would you think that that's what he's been exposed to? Not necessarily.
If he has reached the point that he thinks that's what the commons is, or that it is in some way definitive of the commons, he should not be a police officer anymore.
Because his perception is that all that happens on the commons is fights, so he's a bad officer?
Yes.
I can't agree with you.
He can't be a proper defender of citizens.
Did he say that he wouldn't defend anybody out there?
He has to be. If your perception is so warped of the commons, I'm there 5 or 6 days a week. We live right here. I've walked there. We just walked through it tonight. So, if your perception is that, you should not be a police officer. If you walk past the Southside Community Center and you see some kids standing around outside swearing, and you take that to mean, oh, the Southside Community Center is a filthy, awful place, instead of understanding, no, it's a place that is tremendously helpful and important to our community. If you come to understand it that way predominantly, you don't have any business being a police officer anymore.
So
it's a very hard job, and not very many people should have it, because it takes a kind of moral character that I have repeatedly seen not present. My next door neighbor called the police
39 and 37.
They heard a noise in the house. The police showed up.
Good.
I went out because I saw lights.
Are you in the headquarters?
The police officer got out of the car, threw his cigarette butt down in our yard. This is a long time ago.
I was going to say, I don't know anybody that smokes here, so.
I hope smoking is not allowed in the police vehicle anymore, but I don't know.
It's not allowed on
but
city.
That's to me.
Not allowed on city property.
So is that somebody that should be a police officer? In my hard-ass opinion, extremely conservative on these matters, no. A police officer should be stunningly above reproach, not to be littering in people's yards. Do I say that somebody should be fired from his construction job if I catch him throwing down a Coke bottle in my yard? No. But should a police officer? Probably so. Because they are supposed to be so rigorously devoted to the good of the community. And I've repeatedly seen that it's tolerated that an officer is not rigorously devoted. That he says things like, if you don't want to see this kind of thing, don't come to the commons. That he throws a cigarette butt in my yard. That he has for months and months while I'm complaining about it, a terror-supporting I'm extreme right-wing bumper sticker on his pickup.
So do you know this one officer? Is this why you're saying all these things? You know a specific
no, these
officer?
are all 3 separate officers, I assume.
Oh.
Totally separate.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's way too many incidents to demonstrate to me that really inappropriate people are tolerated in the police force. And this is the core issue facing the nation now, is that the police tolerate the intolerable among themselves.
So
and if you stand here and say to me, well, do you really think that it should be that hard? Do you think it should be that hard? You are confirming to me that you, the police, don't accept how hard it needs to be. It needs to be that hard to be a cop. That you are some kind of extraordinarily careful person. It's not like having a job as a cook at a diner.
I think that's a poor statement that they made. Yes, but I think that you throwing a general broadcast that maybe somebody who is having a bad day or a bad week should be disbanded or removed from the police department because of that comment.
I'm not saying he should be disbanded. He should be removed from his position for saying that to me, for throwing the cigarette butt in my yard, for having the bumper sticker. I'm saying, ideally, there would be a gradual transformation of all of the staff of the police force, so that such a person was just not welcome. Just like in many corporate settings I've worked in, if somebody rolled up to the office and dumped their ashtray out in the driveway, that was not okay. You were just not going to be okay in this setting.
Yeah.
Others that I've worked in, no problem. You roll up to the construction site, you dump your ashtray out, okay.
Yeah.
But
sir, I can assure you that we hold our officers to the highest standards.
I can assure you, you don't.
Well,
because
see,
I've witnessed
you don't.
Because you're not right now. You're on the other side already.
I don't think I can continue this.
This is defensible. This is defensible. Instead of saying,
I'm not defending
yes,
you.
We have work to do.
I can completely agree with that we have work to do.
Okay. You do not hold them to the highest standards. You need to work harder to hold them to higher standards.
I think you're
You
passing.
do not hold them to the highest.
I'll say this. I'm not going to say anything. Hold on. I'm not going to say any more than this because this is going to be something that can just continue. We could do this for hours.
Yeah, because you're defending the indefensible.
No, I think we have work to do. Yes, but I think you're passing a lot
of. To the highest.
I can't continue if you don't let me talk. Like we can have a conversation, but if you just
talk.
How can
you hold them to the highest? Like
never mind. Never mind. You're not letting me speak, and that's not a two-way conversation. That's the problem. You're not having a two-way conversation.
I'm asking you, how is it not a contradiction to say we hold them to the highest standards, we can do better? Which is it? Are they already everybody held to the highest standards, or could you do better?
I think everybody can do better, including you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask the police to accept that the bulk of the work here is on you guys' head. Do better and better and better and better. And honestly, the way our society has arranged policing, I don't think it's doable that you do the job well. I don't think it's possible, given how policing is defined and works in our society, and what you're allowed and expected to do, that job can be done well.
All right, I hear a lot of that. What's your solution?
Consider that hard question.
What's your solution?
My solution is to rethink policing, which is what
how?
Demonstration.
I've heard a lot of this. I've heard we're going to revamp, we're going to defund, we're going to do this. How are you going to do it?
Why do police both handle traffic stops, an insane person holding their mother-in-law hostage, a guy who's drunk, and my house that gets broken into?
Okay.
Why are all of those handled by the same exact person?
You know what the issue is? You're coming to the peons. Not one time do you go to the mayor and complain, or the governor and go complain, or the legislature, or the common council that actually makes the rules. We are a conduit of the elected officials, so you guys should be over there talking to them, not us.
I am.
We're a conduit.
I am. I came here and sat down
Yeah.
out of the curiosity that,
And we're actually
why
taking
is a
the
guy
time
with
to talk to you because we're peons.
I appreciate
Has the
it.
mayor taken time to talk to you?
Well, he's replied to my email.
Well, there you go. Good. That's awesome. But I'm telling you right now, we don't make the laws. The Common Council is the one that signs it. So you talk to the
what I
Common
would say
Council
to you is, can I help you find a different job? Because this is not a humane job for you.
I've done a lot of humane things.
Of course you have.
I have. I've done a lot of good things.
Of course you have.
I've done a lot of good things. You're not going to acknowledge that.
No, of course I do. I just acknowledged it first thing with him. The very first thing I said to him is...
So why are you asking if you can find me another job? Because it's not a humane job for me. You don't know me.
Because it's...
You know nothing about me.
Every police officer
you're going to generalize.
To do things that are beyond
Disregard it,
what the individual can morally do in our society right now.
Okay.
I think that if
We're clearing up
you
here now.
define policing correctly and split it up into reasonable tasks,
couldn't agree more. I think what you're saying is completely
Copy.
reasonable.
Once you're clear,
that's
136
fundamentally what these
Fayette
protests
Street.
are about.
And a report of a
so if
manic
that's the case,
female.
then you tell me why it says
No additional calls from anyone on scene.
Because they are
Just to check the welfare.
deeply disturbed at horrific things that some cops have done.
In Ithaca?
And in light of, yes, I'm deeply disturbed at horrific things.
What horrific things have happened?
Cops supporting right-wing terrorism
What
is
right-wing
deeply
terrorism is happening in Ithaca?
He said there was a bumper sticker one time.
Had for months and months and months, while I actively protested it to the police chief and the mayor, had for months and months and months, right-wing, extreme right-wing.
Oh, God forbid somebody has a differing opinion than you.
No, that's not
America.
just a differing
First
opinion. Extreme right-wing
First Amendment.
is...
Then what would you classify Antifa as? That's a far left wing.
Yes. It's anti...
Hey, should we be doing something else?
But the
Should we be doing something else?
Is sympathizing with right-wing terrorism.
What's that?
People are destroying other... Look at this.
How would you feel about how
Right.
would you feel about somebody who had jihad on their pickup bumper sticker right now?
How would I feel about somebody...
Would
Do you know what jihad is?
Would you
Do you know the definition of jihad is? Tell no.
What's that?
Jihad is sacrificing your life.
they're not blocking traffic, like, I don't care. They stand under that. But I don't want
spend plenty of time in the Middle East. I know what
to start over. Let me see what they want.
You're incorrect. Have you ever been to the Middle East?
I know what a jihad
Have you ever been to Iraq? Have you ever been to Iraq?
No, I have not.
I have. So I have experience.
But I've experienced many people who've been to Iraq who have not come away from it with some profound insights about the world. So I can't trust that your being there suddenly means that you know anything about what jihad means.
It's a point of reference. It's experience.
It is.
Yeah.
So is reading multiple books about jihad.
Sure. So
it's a point of reference.
So you're saying somebody who just...
I'm
so
saying,
if I
what
read
if
a bunch
somebody
of
has
medical
that on?
books, I can walk into a doctor's office and start doing surgery, because I have that experience.
No, I'm asking you, would you have a positive or negative response to somebody who put jihad on their bumper sticker?
Sir, if you may, we expect you to have the professionalism to shrug off words like that.
I'm having a conversation. You're interjecting in my conversation.
And if
I assure you, I'm
that is
calm.
inappropriate, then I apologize.
Yeah, I'm just having a conversation. He's having a conversation with me, and I respect his opinion.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's respecting mine. We're having a dialogue.
I know, it sounds wonderful, sir.
Okay, so what's the issue then that you're interjecting?
Oh, there is no issue. I am letting you know, you were asking earlier, you posed a hypothetical question about how police are supposed to handle signage and words like all cops are bastards and things like that.
No, you're taking our conversation out of context because you're interrupting in the conversation. His initial point was the whole movement was surrounding the defund the police, and he was explaining his thought on it, which I said I agreed with the way he posed it.
Yes.
Then he said that's all it's about. Then I said, how do you explain this? So if you'd been privy to our conversation, you'd know that. Instead of coming in from a different vantage point. You see where people get confused?
I'm deeply disturbed that an attempt to join the conversation was met with this much resistance and hostility.
Well, I'm
You have a
sorry.
good night, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're deeply disturbed. It sounds like a you problem.
Why would you insult somebody walking away like that when you're in uniform?
Because it is. If somebody
No,
that's the problem with America today is everybody
it makes
can't have a conversation without somebody getting
Right,
their feelings.
that's what
hurt.
I'm saying is
It's
so
just a
impossible about
conversation.
being a cop. Is that you can't do what you just did, which is an ordinary human thing, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
defending it as an ordinary human thing.
Okay.
But you're not an ordinary human right
But I
now.
am a human.
Yes,
I am
but
an
you're a
ordinary
cop.
human.
When you put on that uniform, it becomes an impossible, inhumane expectation.
So I've become a non-human?
Drop all of that ordinary humanness.
There's no we're still human.
Because he just told the citizen, fuck off, basically.
No, that's not what
No.
He told him that sounds like a you problem.
Well, it was that he's deeply disturbed by the conversation we're having that he interrupted.
No, he said he's deeply disturbed by what?
He's deeply disturbed by the conversation we're having that he interrupted.
No, his last thing that he said, I'm deeply disturbed.
Well, that he's met with the conversation that he said?
That he's met with your resistance to his participation.
Well, sir, you've got to understand.
Is that human for you to resist it? Yes. But it's not cop-like. It's not appropriate police officer behavior.
Well, you tell me
and
what's
the police are letting in
eyes.
too much of this ordinary human behavior and going, oh look, it's just a bumper sticker. Oh look, it's just a guy who smokes and throws out a cigarette. Oh look, it's just somebody who's
I still don't understand. I still don't understand how you want us, how you think we're supposed to act like we're not human.
Stunningly appropriate.
So
not
describe it.
Like, that sounds like a you
describe the perfect officer.
Somebody says to you, somewhat smart ass.
I got you on it. Be attached to the disorderly.
I'm very sorry.
I didn't copy the last part.
Such a resistance to my participation in this conversation. Have a good day. What you say is, because you're not just you're now a very different thing, which is you in uniform. What you say is that.
Tell me what you would do if you were the officer.
I would not be a cop because it would rob me of too much of my humanity. When you are a cop and you remain just demanding, I have the right to say to you something a little bit snide.
He did. I didn't arrest him.
No,
That's the beauty of America.
No, he doesn't.
He can say what he wants. I didn't arrest him.
No.
And he moved on.
You're pretending your only power is to arrest.
If a different world, if he said that to me and I'm not a police officer, how's that conversation going to go then? I don't know.
If you are a police officer, you have more obligations than to not merely arrest somebody. You have an obligation to stunningly care for this community in a way that is incredibly humane.
I do. I put my life on the line for this community every day.
No, just then you failed.
So because words,
snide guy.
So because words are. So you want me to ignore the die cops, the.
No, I want you to ignore this guy who says, I'm sorry that you were resistant to my participation.
I'm resistant to the interruption and the misalignment, mischaracterization of
whatever he says. If he says, well, you're just a fucking pig, die. Your job, because you're in uniform, is to take care of Ithaca.
I do.
By not being a human mouthing back to him. Because when you mouth back to him, you are abusing your uniform.
I'm not abusing.
When I mouth back to somebody in my ordinary street clothes, or you do in your ordinary street clothes, you have no additional power. But right now, I have paid, and Ithaca has paid, and the state and federal government have paid for you to be imbued with an enormous power merely by having on that badge.
You want robots. I get it.
Yes!
You want robots.
Yes! And here's the problem. Those will be awful. So that doesn't work either. So what I want, though, is
with no human emotion.
Level of integrity. And if your lieutenant stands here and sees you mouth back like that at somebody who mouths at you, you get taken aside and said, listen, you're a good man, understandable reaction, never in uniform. You got it? Just like in many corporate settings, board meeting, here's the peon me, giving the presentation to the board meeting, senior fellow shows himself to be a jackass. It's not any place for me to go, well, this is just showing how this company doesn't stand a chance because that's so ignorant. My boss will take me aside and say, you have a role to play. And it is to keep your mouth shut at moments like this. And that's what I'm telling you, is that the police are full of people now who are saying, I'm just a human, you gotta forgive me. Yeah, I'm just a human, you gotta understand. I get frustrated. I get frustrated with all the crap going on the comments. I get frustrated with guys standing here in the street weirdly saying to me, I find it disturbing that you have not allowed me to participate in the conversation. Tough! You have the uniform on. Swallow it. Swallow it, swallow it, on and on and on. Would I recommend the job of swallowing it on and on and on all day, every day in the public to anyone? No, it's inhumane. Change what policing is so that decent, humane people can do the jobs that society has to have done that are done by police. Because right now, what's expected from 23-year-old guys coming out here and confronting people who are mad as hell and scared as hell is ridiculous. They're not up to the job. The cops are not up to the job of confronting something this intense, and they're blowing it and blowing it and blowing it all the time.
So what would you recommend we do from this point forward? Just leave? Not be
What I would recommend individually if I was having, you know, this is a highly public conversation now, so this is going to be a public statement. But you just have to trust me that if I was personally talking to a cop that I thought would really hear me, I would say, for the next many years, policing in this country is going to be such a mess, as it has been forever in the past, that it's not a place to work. Get a different job.
So what do we do then? So let's say people take your advice, right? And then we just have a bunch of police that say, you know what, we're taking your advice. I didn't get your first name. I'm Brandon. What's your first name?
I'm Brendan.
Brendan? Oh, is there? That's fine. So we're going to take your advice and we're going to do that.
Yep.
Now you're left with 5 people as police officers. Then whatever happens sort of is whatever happens. And what would you...
Well, hopefully the community would be forced into such crisis that it would do a proper job of reinventing policing.
Like self-policing and kind of redoing the legislature and saying different stuff?
I wouldn't picture self-policing as being the most important thing to talk about first. I would picture, like, let's totally separate these things.
How do you respond,
let's not have a guy stop for a traffic.
But what about the day after?
The day after is going to be horrible.
The day after we took Brendan's advice.
Yes, if it was mass taken all at once.
80% officers said, you know what, he makes a great point. We're all leaving. And we took your advice.
Right.
We're looking at like just complete and utter anarchy.
Well, not complete and utter anarchy, but it's not going to be good.
No, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. So then, what does that next day look like? Like if everybody quit on a Sunday, what does Monday look like? Like how does that
I'm
even
not
work?
sure what it looks like, but the important thing, there would be many personally painful, important things happening. Don't get me wrong. It's important when your house is broken into or you're run over by a drunk driver or whatever. Those things are personally very important. But the important thing that would hopefully be happening on right away would be the community would be saying, wow, they all quit, and we know the argument, and the argument that convinced them to quit was that policing cannot be done by a decent human being as society has defined policing.
So we're just day one.
So we damn sure better get busy coming up with a different way of dealing with people who are speeding, people who are parked in their front yards.
Petty issues. Forget the money-making stuff. We're talking major assaults. We're talking like murders.
A very different way of dealing with the drug business. A very different way of dealing with an insane motivation for violence versus
somebody
business motivation.
Having a crisis. Somebody having.
I mean, there's very different. These are extremely different things. But a cop goes to an insane person committing an assault.
I don't want to say insane. They just might be having like a crisis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They go to a mental health problem the same as they go to a violence that's being done because it makes economic sense.
Sure.
I'm here to kill this guy because it's going to make my business better. Well, that's not the same job. Why is the same training, the same 20-something-year-old kid being expected to deal with it?
So
let's get it right, because all of them just quit. 80% of them just quit.
So you would argue we need different divisions for different things.
Very different divisions.
So more government.
And even just in the realm of crime.
More government. Because we need more government divisions. You want more government.
we need in policing
I
a
think that's the
very
opposite thing of what
separate.
we need is more government. We need less government.
Maybe they could be within a same organization. I don't know.
Or civilians.
But they definitely need to be that the guy who stops somebody who, you know, pulls out of the parking lot here, not on any call, no call at all. So he's just cruising over to make sure everything's okay. We're on the west side. Oh, there's a guy with a tail light out. Turn on the lights, pull him over.
So there's a
Make
special person for
make
that.
a decision about, do I ticket this guy or do I just say, you be sure you get that fixed?
Okay.
Make a decision about that. That's the guy who's also got to be up for it with, you know,
we're talking about the people that are
everything.
No, we've moved beyond.
So
We've moved beyond the 80% of officers have quit, and now we're in the process of how you envision the world, Ithaca, New York.
Yeah.
Let's forget the world. Let's think local. How you envision Ithaca serviced the day following, and then the next week, and then the
well,
month
the day
after.
following, it's not going to be serviced. There's not going to be.
So what about the
will
child who's
be.
attacked by his father?
It will be
or the
self-police.
person
That
who
kid
gets
is going to
hit
be
by a
done
car?
in for, or taken care of by a neighbor who butts in because they know that when they call 911, no one's coming, so the neighbor butts in and gets shot to death because the
Yeah,
father's a
Do you think
madman.
that? Do you think that's acceptable?
Do you think that's the
On
answer?
day one, I said it was going to be horrible. I'm
What did I
trying to
tell
tell
you?
you, I
It would be
understand it
anarchy.
will be horrible.
I don't think that the pain of the transition
But-
is justification.
but that
to
saying
not
that
make
the-
the change.
right,
I understand
saying-
it would be difficult,
Right.
but I think that, and to your point about, you know, oh, you create all these new departments that are, you know, doing the mental health things, and that it's not necessarily
More
about
government?
creating more
Okay.
government departments. It's
This is
government
bad.
is first and foremost created by the people. So if you can put that power back into the hands of the people, if you spread that money around to subsidize education, what I think about most is why does crime happen? People are desperate, people are uneducated, people are put in situations that are more emotionally stressful than they need to be because the money's not where it needs to be. As soon as you move that money out of what I'm sure that you guys have seen graphs of budgets, city budgets across the country. Largely, police funding is excruciating larger than any other part. You move that money around, and you don't have those same issues. So yeah, there's a transition period, but I think it's worth it. I mean, yeah, maybe the next day there's anarchy. I mean, who knows? But you know. That's not saying it doesn't work. That what's working, what's happening now isn't working. If you have to make that transition to get to something that works, then that's the price you pay. But
So
by no means is staying as is.
So you have mass casualties from multiple homicides. That's
Mass
okay.
casualties are happening now. By hands of police every year.
Oh, see, now you're turning. No, we're talking about a solution, and you're turning it on us.
Well, I mean, you're making the assumption that
you're saying
as soon
that
as there's no
there's
police, there
Hold
will
on,
be.
Good situation going
Hold on,
bad.
let her talk. Let her talk. I wanna hear what she's
You're
making
making the
a point.
assumption that you know, as soon as you remove police, first of all, that would be sudden. That you know, all you guys would quit one day.
That's unrealistic. I get it.
Not necessarily what would happen.
I get it.
And the other assumption, and this comes more to psychology of society, is that if there's no police, people say, oh, I can break into a mom and pop store and absolutely deck them financially. I can finally murder that guy I hate. And I mean, I suppose it depends what you think about human nature, but in my opinion, in this country, crime is most reinforced by financial bullshit. Like people not having the money when they need to, people not having the support and the education. So, I mean, I see your point on the transition, and yeah, it could be bad, but I don't think that the alternative could ever be considered to be better. The alternative is staying as is, and I think that we've established that this system doesn't quite work. I don't think that it's so black and white as, oh, everybody quits and now policing is over. It's about transitioning the power of reinforcing those systems that enforce crime, redistributing the power into those departments, so that slowly the pressures that cause people to commit crimes against the laws as stated in this country is no longer there. And that's where it comes to the hands of the people, in which, like he said, if I have somebody breaking into my house, I don't have a police to call. I'm close to my community because I have a hand in my community's education. I have a hand in my community's financial support. I have a hand in redistributing wealth and trying to remove redlining communities. Like, I am known in this theoretical society to the people around me, and so my neighbor could call me and say, I have such and such an issue.
Can I ask you a question about how we get there? In my opinion, like one of the things I would say is, what up?
Sorry. Oh my God.
How are you? I know. We're just having a conversation. It got bad earlier. We're talking. So let me ask you this. So you understand, like right now, probably, arguably, one of the most polarizing conversations is the election, right? That's arguably one of the most polarizing ones, right? My thought would be, where is the passion for the people who actually make the laws? That every 2 years, where it seems like everybody's so fixated on the presidential election.
I'm pretty fixated on Tom Reed.
He just signs it into law. I want to see the sort of passion of the people who make the laws.
Why can't you help? Why don't
that?
you stand up with us at city council?
I vote all the time.
No, not voting. Stand up with us, the citizens of this county and this city, and demand change. You stand up with us.
We were told we weren't welcome.
No, you're not working from the inside because we stand up as a community. Who said you weren't welcome?
We were told the officers weren't welcome in this group.
I'm also pretty much not welcome. But I'm
Our
still
chief,
demanding that
our
you
chief
stand up with
wasn't
us
welcome to converse and set dialogue.
There's no being in the group. Stand up at city council and say the police have to change.
At how much comment.
This department's open to conversations.
You don't have a respectful conversation.
This department's open to conversations.
That happened during the last.
Yes, that has progressed.
You're not forcing them out.
That did happen today.
What I would say to what you're saying, I hear your point. Policy changes happen slow, and you want to say, oh, we want to change the overarching system in such a way. Why don't people show that same passion?
At the beginning of everything, I was informed that the chief came and wanted to have dialogue, but it was denied.
Regular gender presenting person, and I have the privilege of being able to see the situation.
Is that not?
I have the privilege of being educated.
To be honest, there was other people who were leading these rallies, and they had lots of
I do not have the burden of having no.
Okay, so maybe we've changed and we've progressed.
And so I'm able
okay, that's acceptable, right?
Asking for progression and change,
have the conversation, and it is what it is. But if I'm, a black trans person in a redline community who's been suffering from, all of the perils of capitalist society that have been placed on my shoulders, I'm desperate. I need change now. I don't have time to vote. Voting is not enough for me. I need to put food on the table. I need to save myself from the systems that are crushing me down again and again. And that's where you see the outburst. That's why it's so
the non-city police who kind of went back to their vehicles and armed up to come back and they're kind of staged over here.
I wouldn't.
It's pretty threatening. I was kind of curious, like, why are they there?
What makes you think that they armed up, sir?
Well, I watched them walk back, and then they came back with more gear, batons specifically, which I didn't see them have when they originally came down. So plus they're kind of hovering there with those. So.
I can't speak to that.
Yep.
I think what we don't want to happen is what happened before. We don't want streets blocked. We don't want officers being unable to leave to respond to calls to help citizens in the community. That's what we don't want. Right? We had a shots fired call earlier, and we were blocked from leaving our police department to go help.
Is that why the police pushed? I saw a demonstration earlier.
That's why Jen got arrested.
Right? Like that happened, and we couldn't respond.
What led to you guys tear gassing people?
We made the announcement that this was an unlawful assembly and that everybody needed to disperse.
And if they don't disperse,
then they're subject to arrest.
But why didn't we try to arrest?
There were multiple arrests, and there was locking of arms in groups, and we couldn't pull the people who had committed those violations peacefully.
So
if we were allowed to take those people that were subject to arrest peacefully without a mass crowd around us and locking arms and all of this, then it would have just been that and nothing else.
And you thought what exactly was the risk that you couldn't just walk in and arrest people, you had to resort to tear gas?
It was not tear gas. Let's clarify that. It's not tear gas.
Oh, they said pepper spray, right?
Oh, pepper spray.
Is that what it was?
What was used earlier?
Yeah, pepper spray?
Yes.
Okay.
So can you speak to why the troops are staged up here?
I can't make any statements. I don't have that authority. Right? I'm not up there. I don't know.
Well, you're working together, so just wondering.
What we don't want is this happen again. So just so you know, we're open to dialogue.
Yeah, I appreciate
We're open
that.
to speaking and talking about society's issues,
I appreciate
people's
that a lot.
issues with the police department.
Yep.
Like, officers here feel like we've done a great job over the years, and we want to continue to do a great job and build trust in the community. We want to continue those things. But we feel like obviously this is setting us back somewhat.
Sure.
Right? But we're open to it. So
I'm a local Ithacan, and I've never seen police line up in Ithaca like that before. And I live a few blocks from here, and I find that presence really threatening to me and my community, which you're a part of, obviously. But I'm really surprised to see that action. Although hearing why you describe it, I understand where you're coming from as a police force. But again, these guys hovering back there, it's kind of like an armed tactical thing.
Yeah, that looks scary.
I mean, these guys have a lot of opinions and feelings to express, but they're not military tactics threatening you guys, and that definitely is. So I think that's a contrast to point out, partly why they're here.
Feel like we have military tactics and weaponize and stuff?
Absolutely. I've seen the SWAT bus. I'm not saying you specifically are like a warrior or a soldier, like we're ready to hurt people. Like, that's not your job, and I don't think that's what you're here to do. Have you ever had that as a movement here in our city streets is like, it's pretty threatening.
Have you ever had dialogue with somebody about what is the SWAT bus is actually for? Like what it's meant for?
The chief talked to me one time about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a few minutes, but yeah.
Great.
And actually, he did highlight as more of a communication center.
Right.
I still see this police force as militarized. I'm not going to say how they're going to use that, but it's definitely militarized.
What makes you feel that?
And these guys hovering there,
what makes you feel like that we're militarized though? Like what weapons do you think we have that makes us a militarized?
I've seen what I believe are training exercises come through the department and through the city, and it's completely militarized. They look like army. They look like Marines. It's gear, it's guns, it's big guns, it's multiple guns, it's vehicles, it's armored vehicles, it's the SWAT. And I understand that has multiple purposes, but that's a militarized exercise in public streets. It's pretty threatening. And when these guys are hovering, ready to attack, because that's why they're there, they're here to support you, because they feel like this is the front line, that's also threatening to our community. And I think that's partly where this issue is coming from. It's like, why are we under militarized police?
Do you know that there'd be no issues, there'd be no presence even of officers around if things were kept out of our driveway, off to the sidewalk, out of the public roadway, like freedom of speech, let it rain, right?
So
like speak it. But if we can't, no, we'd like to be able to go help the citizens of the community without people in the way.
So I've been trying to figure out since you announced that it was an unlawful protest, what does that mean? Because there was nothing different from what we were doing when you announced that to what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So what changed right then that you felt the need to come here and pepper spray a bunch of minors?
See, I can't make a public statement on that.
No, what I'm trying to understand is what constitutes an unlawful protest. Like, what have you been told?
What's that?
What have you been told constitutes an unlawful protest?
I can't make statements. I know that this is just going to be put in a paper.
No, I'm asking.
Right? Like I know this is just going to be put. I'm not at that level. Like if you want to talk to somebody, a chief or a lieutenant about what constitutes what we do.
No. It's not what you do. I'm trying to understand, in legal terms, what constitutes an unlawful protest. And if you're not able to tell me that, why are you able to be involved with?
It's the assembly that you had,
right? So what was different from this assembly than from the last 3 months?
We've given a lot of leeway. That's all I'm going to tell you. Like if you want a statement from the chief on why things haven't happened previously, then you can ask to obtain one. But as far as what's led up to this, that's because
you're saying that it hit a boiling point and then you decided to pepper spray a bunch of minors.
No, you're going to twist things. Thank you. We can continue a different dialogue at a later time. Take care.
By a system that's designed to protect itself.
That's not acceptable. That tell you to take care, like good wishes, right? That's all I was saying. Take care. Take care of yourself.
Earlier, you wouldn't tell me your name.
It's a popular
tell me it now?
We're just humans trying to talk to you and adhere to
Hey, how you doing? So, you hanging out?
I don't plan to leave. this
do not lick
right
back.
now.
They
I feel like
bite
if we
back.
leave this, it's going to get
They get to
What's that?
play victim.
I feel like if we leave this right here, we're going to get
It's
out
the
of the way,
psychology
and
of
I
it
prefer not to get back to that.
That's
Don't
true.
get yourselves up into a fucking lather like Kai over there crying, who I will check on. Please let me know when Goldberry's back out. I'll be right back.
Would you like to talk to him?
Let them
Please
go!
really go.
Let them go!
Come in and check on everybody.
Let them go! Let them
He went to
go!
talk.
Let them
Yeah,
go!
I don't know your name, so I can ask
Let
you.
them go!
Michelle?
Let them go!
Okay.
Let them go! 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 Fuck IPD! Fuck IPD! Fuck IPD! Fuck IPD! Fuck IPD! Fuck IPD!
Sorry?
IPD! Defund who? IPD! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! KKK! No fascist USA! No cops! No 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 KKK! No fascist USA!
My what?
Yeah, what's your name?
KKK! No fascist USA!
My badge is 104.
All day! All night! All day! All night!
What's that?
All night!
If you want to obtain any more information legally, then you can request it through the police department by my badge number.
Okay, thank you.
All night! All day! All night! All day! All night! All day! All night! No good cops in a racist system! 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 No good cops in a racist system!
Yo guys, that's one rule. Stay together. Who's following them down there?
Over here. Yeah, over here.
5-1 to Goldberg. She's up there.
Who's that? Get your asses back here.
Joe, Deputy Chief Joe. Okay? So,
Oh, Deputy Chief.
she goes, what are you reaching for?
We
I'm
can't
like,
take
I'm not
nothing
sure.
from you right now. You the enemy, sir.
All right, I hear you. I'm sad.
Like nobody's gonna take anything from you right now.
I'm gonna have it now and later.
You can have it now and later.
I'm not allowed to?
They're very smart to send you, you know.
Why? It's a now and later.
You got the tattoos, you're the libertarian. You're very smart to send you.
Nobody sent me. I'm out here of my own volition. I can be inside.
Oh, you volunteered?
I'm trying to.
We don't have to be out here.
No, I'm here talking.
Why not?
Go hand
But
in
maybe I actually cops and clan go hand in hand. See, you guys need a system. Cops and clan go hand in hand. So it can be like, before the pepper spray. Cops and clan go hand in hand.
Sounds like you're the one. You're the one to talk to.
And I thought it was gonna at least stay the same. IPD. And in the middle of the Zoom calls, no fascist USA. Come see no KKK, no fascist USA. Like this is exactly the fascist USA. That's no KKK, no fascist USA. At least warn me before the pepper spray come out next time. I will die. I'll take this off.
We don't want anything.
I know you don't want, but you see, this is nobody wanted this either, and here we are.
Who did want it? Like, who called for that? No, like, honestly, I really want to know. Like, who called for the pepper spray? How does that even work? Is it a bureaucracy? I feel like that's a legal question that I'm allowed to ask, and you're very much allowed to answer. Is he also allowed to not answer? No idea. I mean, that guy earlier would not give me his name and badge number. That's illegal, right? Yeah, none of them would. Only Jolie would. Nobody else would give me the name and badge number, and that's fully illegal. The law is subjective.
Can I ask about the bail funds?
Oh, the bail funds? Where's Nicholas?
I don't think Nicholas.
How do you spell racist?
IPD!
How do you spell racist?
IPD!
How do you spell corrupt?
IPD!
How do you spell murder?
IPD!
How do you spell white supremacy?
IPD!
Defund who?
What are
IPD!
you doing out here anymore?
IPD!
What's that?
I don't know. It's worth some would not done before.
Cops and clan go
Why not?
I just don't see the point is anymore.
I don't either, but it can't get any worse than having conversations.
They don't want to anymore.
I know, but there are people who want conversations. She wants conversation.
What's that?
She wants conversation. There are people who do want conversations. I mean, we've hidden long enough. Why not try to have conversations? That's all.
Good. Would you please clear myself at 26 Cold taking care of we're back in service. Copy, thank you.
You can't stop the revolution!
You can't stop the revolution!
I can't believe somebody came in.
You can't stop the revolution!
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 Special case thing. Like, yeah.
Let them free!
Let them free!
Most of them are very.
Let them free!
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 You know right now they're meeting.
Let them free!
Instructions in there with them.
Let them free!
Yes, they're just
I don't know the exact charge.
Let them free!
I don't know if it's
Let them free! Let them free! Let them free! Let them free!
It could be a handful of things. It could be
Let them free!
unlawful assembly. It could be obstruction. It could be disorderly conduct.
All of those are
Let them free!
What's that?
all of those are misdemeanors.
Let them free!
So they just get a plastic and go.
Let them free!
I mean, Genevieve did.
Let them
de-escalate that. I am.
She was. What's that?
I get it.
I think as long as they cooperate, the same thing will happen.
I am specifically standing here to be.
Who's here? Joey?
Maybe like 4 or 5.
I'll call you back, Samantha.
Let them free!
How much people want to talk, but
Let them free!
Jolie here?
Deputy Chief Jolie? Yeah, he's here.
Tell Jolie. I don't know that.
Your name is
Harry.
Harry?
Let them free!
You can do that.
Let them free! 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 Let them
What's that? Harry, need something? He wants to talk to Julie if he can.